All right, we are going to be going live here with the finals of the 5v5 Sterling Cup. It's going to be my team against the Bears team. So Muscle, Dark, Sebastian, December, October. I think Supernova is also on the team, like I told you guys. And I'm going to post this video, just the finals. It's best of 7, not best of 5 like the previous ones, because it is the finals. And then after this, tomorrow I'm probably going to finish off with the 15v15 Duck League, which is obviously more applicable than 5v5. You guys should be focusing when watching these 5v5 videos on kind of more individual play and individual decision making, and when watching the 15v15s, more looking at the map as a whole and seeing how different groups are playing off of each other and how we're rotating quickly and stuff like that, or misplays, right? You can always see misplays. Everyone makes misplays. If people didn't make misplays, you'd never lose. Obviously, everybody loses sometimes, so everyone's making misplays. Doesn't matter what level you're at. Really, it just matters about consistency. So we're going to start off here on mines, actually. My team's going to be defending first. You see, we actually did a bit of a counter pick here. We saw them bring 2 CSs and a Kron, and we decided to go a bit heavier. So we're bringing 3 277s, a Super Conk, and a CS. And right away, what we're thinking is, well, they can't take a hill fight, okay? So you might be thinking, well, there's 2 CSs can go hill. And yeah, that's true. But the thing is, their Kron and Super Conk simply do not get to the hill in time to brawl our 277s, which means our 277s can just really push the issue with the CS and kind of do what we want on the hill, with me coming up in the rear. So we're going to turn down the casters here. We're about to go in here, and you're going to see us looking for that play right off the bat, actually. You can see everyone's HP boosted here, but our meds, they are opting to HP to boost their CSs. Interesting play. Extra 160 health. I don't know about that. They actually do a really weird opening that like they just send Dark out east for like no reason. I guess he wants to flank eventually, but we're gonna be looking to take hill. You can see Mashy here. He's actually looking to see if they're going uphill, and as soon as we know they're not right taking hill, we're gonna start taking it. We're gonna start taking it fairly aggressively. And the thing is, 5v5, 6v6, these smaller formats defense, if you can get a heavy tank on the hill, you see what they're doing, right? They went to the CS out here to look for anyone crossing the K line and to bleed it. But what that did is it's now going to allow myself and the Super Conk to take hill for free. And a Super Conk on hill for free is, oh goodness gracious, it's really, really hard to deal with. And you can see we've got our 277 anchoring in K4, and we've just got our CS playing here. He actually doesn't need to be here. He could probably be over here by now, or this 277 could have gone and this guy comes back. But we're going to take the hill for free here in the Super Conk. And they realize that, and they're kind of forced to make a play here. So their CS is going to push across your muscles. He's actually going to do it almost all the way on lit. He does actually get lit in J2. You're not going to see it, but the sound does go off. So he is lit here. We do know where he is. And this is the first misplay by them. Again, we took hill, so it's very hard for them to win. But this is the first misplay by Octo. He wants to get to this H3 rock, presumably to push off K4 so they can cap. You can see he's going to take 2 shots for it, and but it doesn't really give him anything because they don't really have tanks to cap. That's the thing. The Super Conk and Kron are just too tall to play low here. You need to be playing with 277s because Floppy can just peek every minute and get free resets. Now Dark is still playing out here, and I still think that's a really big misplay with the Super Conk on the hill. I don't really like it. And you can see our call here is we have no clue Dark's out here, obviously. So what we want to do is we kind of want to get our CS out to exactly where Dark is, just to look down that C line. Because if we get our CS out here to the C line, they are forced to play 1, 2, 3. There's nothing they can do. They can't repush hill. We see it too early, and we hold it really nicely with our 277 in mid. You can see myself in the Super. I'm just kind of blind firing K3. And Dark actually is here in his CS, which is, again, it's just a weird play. Sometimes the Bears, this team suspect, just does weird plays like this. And a lot of time it'll work out because they're just good players. But it shouldn't. A lot of their plays just straight shouldn't work out. So you can see their Super Conk and Kron are rotate. As soon as they see our CS, I put a shot in from hill. Mashi probably falls here. Dark just got the jump on him. He was HP boosted. But you can see our 277 here is coming in to support. We know we can hold mid, right? We don't have to worry about a repush because we know this guy's stuck at H3, and we know K1 is stuck, which means at worst it's going to be a Super Conk and Kron pushing into a hull down 277 and a Super Conk on hill, which means we're just going to hold that every single time. Plus we knew they were on cap, so we're not worried about mid at all. We're going to let high lane is 277 just kill, okay? And you can see here they're going to start pushing with muscles up into Floppy. The problem is we've got ass shots on him in just a second, and Floppy's in a really good position. You'll notice here Floppy's not really peeking too much, right? He's just peeking for the opportunity shots. He doesn't want to bleed here because if he hard bleeds and Muscles is actually able to come up and push him, then they get K5, which means their cap is really easier a lot now. So you can see us, myself and my 277 Nexus, we're going to push into this Super Conk. Floppy's getting shots in. Now he can start trading HP, right? Because Octo is going to go down and he can just start winning this fight. Muscles is going to try to push him, but that means as soon as he does that, you'll notice Floppy is the most important person still. So instead of shooting what's just right in front of us, Nexus and I, we realize that we need to shoot the CS. We shoot him, we light him on fire. Floppy's going to now be behind them. I fall. It doesn't matter. We've got full 2 health, 2 full health 277s and 277 in the back. We can just speed this up, and you can see how that's going to be an easy defensive win on Mines. Now, Mines is incredibly defensive-sided because it's very, very hard. You essentially can't play 1 cap. You either have to push through or try to play 2 cap. And if the defense plays it right, it's very hard for them, or very hard for the offense, because if the offense wants to play 1-2, then if the defense is fast enough, they just retake hill and basically win. And if the offense wants to play mid, then the defense can either brawl on the mid, or they can simply just camp and just wait, play time, because then the offense eventually will have to play on one of the caps or try to kill. And if the offense wants to push 8-9, if you rotate fast enough, it's very, very easy to stop it. So actually here we go up 1-0. And we make a stupid play as a team. We call tanks. You can see we actually pick tanks in the chat here. And we actually go into the next battle with a wrong tank, so that means we automatically forfeit the match. So we're just going to skip. We go 1-1 here because we have to forfeit that match. And you can see that we go 1-1, and we're going to go into Himmels, okay? So we've been seeing Himmels a lot. Now, the Bears are very, very strong at Himmels. So we're gonna look at that. And you can see they are doing a very, very aggressive K-line play. The thing is, Nexus, and especially myself, I have played against the Bears so many times that I know they love going aggressive K-line. So we are actually just going to do a very, very aggressive K-line hold on defense. That's why you see myself and the 30B coming wide, but all of our 277s are coming down to K-line, and we're going to look to peak this K3 area. We don't necessarily need to push it, but we want to peak it for early damage because we know the Bears, just from like the past 2-3 years of playing Himmels, they love taking this K-line early. So that's what we're going to do. You're going to see we're going to all over-peak together, and we're going to catch Octo out. Only 2 of the 3 shots connect. Octo gets safe here. Their Super Conk's playing safe, so there's absolutely no point in pre-poking this, right? That's really important. You might think, oh, well, why not just take the overmatch? No. We won't win that probably. Even if it's 5-on-4, their 50B comes down fast enough, and they've got a clip, and they're pretty safe, and we would be forced to push into them. So instead, we're very happy with that bleed, with that intel. Not only do we bleed 1,000 HP, we're going to end up bleeding 2 and stop the clock. So we are going to completely reset up into a standard West defense. Right, we're going to have our guy here in J1. You're going to see this 2-7 is going to actually move back to G1. I'm going to play F1. Our CCP is looking down 8 line, and our other 277 is going to play looking for vision across D line, 3 line, and B line. He's kind of a floater here. You can see they rotate out. We're going to speed this up again because right now as the defense, we don't actually really want to move until we see something again. So you're going to see we're going to stop. We're not sure if they're going to go hill here. They actually could just all come back up and go over hill. That would bleed a lot of time though. So they actually don't decide to do it, and they decide to recommit to K-line, it looks like. They do it smartly here. And by the way, if you're wondering about this H3 position, it actually is really powerful because it backs this off and can look this way. And he's very well supported when they're on the K-line like this. So you're going to see they're going to start coming through here. Highly in his 277, he spots him out. And he's going to put the shot in. And look how fast this guy's going to go down. December goes down to 608 immediately. And that's because all of us are focusing him down. And he's forced to play here. And now Hiley just has to not bleed. I think Hiley makes a couple misplays here because he should just take 0 damage. He actually has to do nothing, right? You can see that all he has to do is literally sit here and then wait for them to push. He does actually come in, but he shouldn't. He shouldn't just move. 60p floppy is a huge shot onto Octo, and you can see they're already down 4,000 HP and attacking. Yeah, so this is a bit of a misplay here, especially if it doesn't pen like that. That was just Wow, I didn't realize at the time how bad that play was, but that's stupid by Hiley. He just has to survive. Look how much support he has. And now they're kind of stuck, right? Octo takes another shot from Nexus, trying to leave. Muscles is going to come up in this 50B here. He actually gets a really lucky bounce there. He should be dead. We're going to speed this right back up because there's just not much they can do. Hiley's taking a bit too much damage, but you can see, yeah, he should not be on 930 here. Although he does pick up the kill. It looks like their 113 from Octo is going to try to rotate all the way around the map, but again, Hiley just doesn't have to do this. Here he can peek because they both fired, but he was kind of scared here, I think, and we were kind of yelling at him to stop bleeding. So a couple bad decisions there, and then another bad decision to not actually peek when he could have. But it doesn't really matter because he's still alive. You can see Dark Ninja is looking for that shot. That's not going to go through, even though the reticle is green there. I make a bit of a misplay here. You can see the K. Yeah, that was poor by Hiley. He does go down, but we're going to bleed Dark for it. I think Nexus is actually going to pick up the kill on Dark. Yeah, he picks it up from all the way across the map. And you can see we're just up so much HP, and they can't push anything here. They're too slow with their S-Kong. They're low, and then they've got the 50B, which can't push. So we actually just make the decision. We're going to end it. We could just sit playoff time and then wait for them to try to cap. But we're going to end it. We're just going to push on their Super Conqueror, right? And there's nothing they can do here. We're just going to full push. You can see they're focusing me out, which is the correct play. The Super Conqueror Sebastian wants to try to kill me in my 50B. He's not going to be able to do it. Muscles tries to put another shot into me, but I'm going to get safe. And that's going to be game. So that puts us up 2-1 here on Himmels. And let's go into the next one. So here, on our attack, we actually opt to go a bit more heavy 8-line, okay? So, because again, we know they like playing K-line. They like doing that on attack and defense. So we're going to go a bit heavier on 8-line and look to take D, okay? And we actually do it really nicely. It looks like we get some good bleed on them at the start on their 705A. I think I put actually 3 shots in from Hill. From this position that can actually farm F2 if it's lit. So you can see here, Nexus is not going to let himself get caught out, right? We saw this late, but he realized it, and he did not let himself get caught out on this G line, which is really, really big. Now, we are kind of stuck on the 8 line here, but we do have the option, because we know the Super Conk and 705A are over there, we do have the option to start re-pushing down this way, which what I think is what we're going to do here. And you can see they're starting to fall back a bit because they don't want to get overmatched here. They're going to start looking for angles, and we're just going to start to hard take D line. And this is a fun play by both teams, right? We're just kind of drawing for map control. I should actually be getting off hill here. There's really no reason for me to be on hill still. I think I'm just looking for. I actually know I'm looking for the shots on Sebastian and his Super Conk. He's playing it safe though. There's no reason for me to be on hill. I should be coming off hill here. And again, looking back on this replay now, it's even more obvious how not on hill I should be right now. So we're going to actually keep taking J-line with our 60 TP. He's going to do it slowly. And again, you're going to see this 277 kind of parallel pushing with him. We just need to make sure we got the vision and that we're not going to bleed when we do peak corners. And I'm coming off hill now. It is really late, like I said. It's not going to cost us just because we're playing passive and we're just kind of looking for map control. But we could have possibly pushed when they were leaving JK line and caught them out while they were leaving. Here, what we're actually going to do is we're going to probably make a courtyard play because we now control west and a lot of northeast. So it makes a lot of sense for us to now push through to courtyard into D3. And that's exactly what you're going to start seeing us do. And remember how I said courtyard is incredibly powerful on this map. And we're going to just hold, you need to hold G line, kind of G3 area. And now they start doing some weird shit, which I've never seen. And which is actually really bad. But it's not whatever. I'll explain it when we see it happening. And so we're not actually lit on this D line at all. These guys aren't lit, and I'm watching the 5 line right now. And you can see Floppy trying to get a shot into the S-Conk. These guys need to play unlit because what we want to actually do is we want to push into C3 and kill the Super Conk. We don't know that this 277 is down here, but you can see we get some really, really nice bleed on the 705A of December. We also know that there's still a 277 out in the H line. We also think the 50B is down south too, which would make a lot of sense, right? Because the thing is, if you're them, you can't afford to give up this diagonal control and this K-line control, especially because we're really unlit in here, okay? So I think we look to put a guy on cap here. but I'm not sure why they gave up that much control. It's really, looking back on it now, though, I suppose okay, it's because we capped. Okay, all right, I'm seeing it now. We shouldn't have sent Nexus to cap. Okay, so what am I thinking about? I'm probably just rambling for incoherently. So what we actually want to do here is, because we think there's a 277 and a 50B South, we know the 705A is here, and we know the Super Conk's here. We don't know where the other 277 is, but we don't really care. What we actually want to do is, before we cap, we should just group up with 4, and we push into C3, and we pick this Super Conk and 277, and we're safe from everywhere. The 50B out and E1 can't do anything, and these two guys, floppy, just holds. Okay? Now, what we actually opted for is we wanted to hold them and to bait them with the B6 cap, which makes them rotate their 277 through, because he obviously thinks it's going to be safe now south, because we have to be holding at least north, and they know we've got one guy or two guys courtyard, so we have to be having at least another 2 tanks north to cap. Now we don't actually, but the thinking by this guy is that sound, so he does come through, and 705 is still holding, and we can see that's why that's the only reason this 50B rotates back. And now if this 50B is actually in E1 and we make the push with 4 tanks through into C3, we win this game every time. And now I'm seeing now that this guy on B6, although it looks like he's going to cap for free, that's actually a misplay by us. We shouldn't have done that. And you can see now we're actually going to push C3 because we saw this 277. So we're really worried about this 277, because he and the 705A can pinch our 62P. So we make this desperation play into C3, and we get clipped out for it. And we also don't really focus fire. We bounce a couple of shots, and that's going to lose us the game. Look how much HP we went down in like 30, not even 10 seconds. Went down about 3,000 HP in 10 seconds. And you can see now we're going to lose this game every time. This 277 versus S-Conk is not going to win. That C3 push was not good. I think I was the one who called it in desperation, because we saw this south. And I actually, Nexus and I, we were kind of at odds in this battle. I think he wanted to cap and I wanted to push C3 straight away. So we kind of did both, right? We kind of capped and then pushed C3 late. And that's a mistake. I think, like I said, I think the best play for us would have actually been to push C3 right away when we knew that they had a couple more south, and when we weren't playing cap, so that they wouldn't actually be forced to come back to start dealing with cap. Because, like I said, this 50B coming back here to support and getting the full clip in as we were pushing in lost us the game. I suppose we also could have held. I guess we could have held the cap and tried to rotate one guy back to support floppy in that 2v1, because their 705A was low. But you can see there that Nexus and I making those conflicting calls, where we ended up kind of doing both, lost us the game pretty severely, actually. And we were up HP. Up until this point, we were doing incredibly well on HP. We were up like 1,000, 1,500 HP. We had the position, by the way. I can't stress enough how much we had them out positioned there. We were a bit split, and again, looking back on it, we were actually a bit too split by putting that guy on cap. Had we not, we actually would have been better off. But in terms of position, we had the courtyard, we had the G line, we had the 3 line on attack, and which means they're kind of cornered 1, 2, and A, and that's really powerful for us. So kind of unfortunate that we kind of countercalled each other there and made those misplays. But it happens, right? It happens. You got to be able to look back on it and say, well, yeah, that's kind of what went wrong. And they, like I said, they reacted properly to a 2-line play, 2-cap play, even though that's not really what we were doing. And it bit us in the ass not having the tank and then rotating back. So that's going to put us at 2-2. Really, it's 2-1 though, I like to say, because of that tech defeat we took. And I believe now we're going to go on to Cliff as our third map. Yeah, it is going to be Cliff. And if we go 1-1 on Cliff here, it's actually Cliff tiebreaker too. So there's potential of 3 games of Cliff here. And spoiler, it does actually go to a tiebreaker. So reading the comps right away, look how light they are. They are defending. They are going to bring 3 CSs, a 277 and a Cron. And so we kind of counterpick here in the garage, because I guess I haven't explained how it works. The defense picks 2 tanks, then the attack picks 2 tanks, then the defense picks 2 tanks, then the attack picks 2 tanks, defense picks their last, and then attack picks their last. So on attack, you can actually kind of counterpick the last couple picks. So there's also a bit of strategy involved there, right? You may not want to ready up, say, a cheese tank right away. But I think right away they readied up 2 CSs, which right away forces them to play light. So we decided we're going to play heavier. And as soon as we saw them ready up the Cron, we're really happy with our comp 3277 CS and SB. Because it means we just take mid. right? Even if their CSs go mid, they just can't hold it, and our 277s just come in and shit on them out wide in E4, and their Kron, he's just simply not in. He's just not in the mid fast enough. That's the thing. Especially since we have a CS and SCB, and obviously SCB is going to come play here. We do decide to send one guy 1-2 because they have 3 CSs, which means they could easily just rotate 1 through 1-2, which is exactly what happens, and we see him. We didn't know there was a 277 there. I'm not sure why they do that. But you can see here we're hard playing mid, and what do we see? As soon as we see the CS here, we know the Kron must be coming mid, so we are just going to overpush into him. And you can say I hesitate here. I should have actually gone in 2 seconds earlier. And there's a huge misplay by a 277 here too, so we're going to pause it in a second. Look at Hiley here. He just doesn't shoot this guy. Oh no, he does. Maybe that was a different game. Okay, he does shoot him. But notice how I take a fire, and I got set on fire, and I live on 230 hit points, but there's no reason I should be on 2. I should be on at least 1,000, right? I should maybe take 1. The fire's a bit unlucky, but I crossed too late. Is a misplay. And now you can see, we picked that death. Why did we choose to death ball there? Well, because we know they're so light, which means we like any brawl we see. And if they want to commit a CS to F3 right away, we know their Kron is not going to ever be in the fight fast enough, so we're just going to commit into him and hard push. And then as soon as we kill the CS and we see their 277 down low in E2, we're just like, fuck it. This train has no brakes. We're just going to keep fucking going. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do here, and we are just going to straight push with our full health heavies. You can see myself and a 277 are staying on the hill, and I don't know why. Every time I go cliff here, the quality just goes to shit. But that's better now. I don't know why, but you can see our 277s. Our 277 SCBI is just going to push through to 277 and try to pick him. Actually, Mash and Nexus bleed way too much here. You're going to see in a second. Dude, I don't know what Mash is doing here. Just play under for now. I don't know why you're getting shot by this CS. And we bounced the shot there, and then Masha takes another one from Hill, so he actually shouldn't be playing here. She'd actually just stay low here. And again, Nexus again taking another shot. We're gonna rotate our other full 2 health 7-7 back, and the play here for us, even though we're only up a bit of HP, we've got all our tanks. It's to take our full health 277 and just to repush the E line, right? We just we take the Kron and CS clip, and we just come through into E6 and just kill the CS. And again, look at we're bleeding here. Like, there's no reason for Nexus to be on 689. Should be on 1400 health right now. And you can see Floppy and Hiley are gonna go. I'm gonna stay back. And what they need to do here is, again, they're gonna be lit from the CS. They may even take a shot, but they're gonna completely destroy this guy. There's nothing Sebastian can do here except try to get as much damage out before he dies as possible. We're gonna see. We're gonna stop. We're gonna aim the shot. This is absolutely the correct play by us. It's absolutely the correct call. And Mashi in his CS, who's bled too much, but it doesn't matter, is going to pick up the kill. And we know there's a CS on Hill, and again, because we're 277s and we're still pretty healthy and they're so light, we just say fucking death ball it, right? We're just going to literally force ourselves up the hill. I'm going to play E-line just to support. We're going to put 2 people on cap here because they're low health, and we know we've got the angles. The Kron is not stealthy at all. We're just literally just going to shove their last 2 tanks with our 277s. They're actually up HP, and they go up even more HP, but we have so many tanks that they can't do much here. You see I rotate back to D3, these bushes, and that's because I don't want to get caught out. I don't know if the Kron was pushing 1-2 because we thought that was actually a possibility. He wasn't lit or anything, so I was thinking he could be coming up 1-2 and maybe come up to here to try to get angles or try to reset. So I'm playing these bushes. I'm looking out here, and I'm looking through this cross. I also won't be lit until I fire. This Kron now, December does get lit here, and we're gonna look to kill him. The CS is coming around. He's gonna look for shots, but with 227s on Hill, there's not much they can do. December goes down to 693. I don't want to peek right because I want my 277s to kill him. Unfortunately, they suffer from GOONZ aim, and they both just like donk the shot. I put a shot into the Kron, and I back around before he can actually get the shot back, and then one of our guys on cap pick him up, and now you can see how this is going to be over for them. So we went down 2,000 HP, but just because we had the positions, we had the fast tanks that could just straight push into their face, and because we had 5 tanks to 3, we end up with 3,500 HP. You can see at the end we're trying to HP share and conserve as much as possible. So that's really good for us. That puts us up 3-2. And that now puts us, I believe, on our defense on Cliff. And right away, what are you going to see? they're going to bring an E50M, SDB, CS63, and two 277s, and we're gonna do the exact same comp we played last time. And it looked like Dark tried to boost there, but didn't quite work out. And we want to hard push this. We want to hard take mid. Their E50 and J3 actually get some really nice shots onto me, and we're actually not committing like we should because we actually want Mashi to farm. Okay, and here's where this falls apart, and I got called out for a misplay here. And it was a misplay, but there's a reason I made this misplay, and there's a reason why we should have pushed in. It's because Mashi did not go wide enough, okay? In his CS63 to bleed this, they can't over push mid. He should be over at H8, right? Where he is right now, all they have to do is turn around and re-push him, and there's not much we can do, especially with the E50 in the back farming us the entire way, right? So I make the call that we just need to fucking go. And so you'll see, though, all of my 277s are kind of hesitating right here, and I'm the only one who goes in, right? And I'm gonna get absolutely railed for this because not only is the E50 gonna farm me, but they understand that they have to focus the ramp. So that was my thinking, and maybe I didn't communicate it well, but it was all based off of Mashi in a position where he is very, very, very easily over pushed. And so you can see I'm going to go down like really, really quickly. And as soon as you lose the SCB on hill, now they're coming forward, but it's just like Highly and Nexus are just, I don't know how Nexus is on 700. Floppy pushes down. It's too late. And now, because they're getting aggro, I'm forced to get re-aggro up here. I know I'm going to get farmed by this guy and die. But it's over at this point. Mashi's trying to farm. They didn't end up pushing him, but that's only because we overpushed. But you can see the huge breakdown in communication there. Huge breakdown in being on the same page. None of us were on the same page, right? Mashi did not go wide enough. Then I overpeaked, calling and thinking that we needed to just take that fight because we knew there was an E50M down here, so we actually can win that brawl. But I went out before anyone else did. No one else kind of wanted to peek out, so I take all that damage. And then when I take that damage, we're about to lose ramp, which means then they go, which makes me forced to peek out again, and we lose. So was a misplay by me, but was also a misplay by the team. It's just like I said, it was really bad by the team, and there's almost no reason why we should actually win that or lose that. You can see how much better our comp is for just taking that brawl in the mid. Now they played it actually pretty well because they made sure not to come wide, right? If they came wide and they try to take that brawl, they lose that. That's why they had their E50 over here, just kind of farming me in the STB. But there's no reason why we should ever lose that. And you can see Floppy here is going to die. And that's going to put it to 3-3. And like I said, it's a best of 7. So that's going to put us into the tiebreaker on Cliff. And we're going to go into that. Tiebreaker on Cliff, you can see they are going to bring 3 CSs, a 7.5A and a 2.77. And we're going to stay with our exact comp that we've been playing. We really like this comp on Cliff. 5v5, I think it's really, really powerful. Because you just get that push capability. And on top of that, you've got that STB, DPM, gun depression, hill plane capability, and CS quickness to take what you need, light, do whatever we need to do. So you can see we're actually on attack here. They're on defense. This map isn't too defense or attack sided. It's kind of a 50-50 because you get a lot of mid brawls and brawls in the EF line. So we're not too bad. Too sad we got attack. That means they actually got the tiebreaker. That means they got more kills on attack when they were attacking throughout all their rounds. They got more kills, so they got to choose their side. They chose defense. It might be slightly defense sided, like probably at most like 52-48 type of deal though. And you can see here, what are we doing? We just decide kind of, you know what, it's match point. We've been playing well. We've actually been out brawling them for the most part when we've been taking the fights. We are heavier, so that helps. But we decide, okay, you know what? We're just going to take 1-2, and we're going to play 5-line really passively. We're just going to take a little bit of a gamble. So we're just going to go take 1-2 incredibly aggressively here. Muscle spots it out. He shouldn't shoot. I don't think he does. We do know he's lit, though, so that, because we get lit, that's why we send the guy to E2. We want to try to spot him out. He shouldn't be lit if he's playing it properly, and I don't think he is. And now what they're going to do, they get 2 CSs. They're probably going to take kill. That's really powerful, and that's what I was kind of worried about when Nexus called this strat was I knew they were going to take kill right away. So that's not great for us. Being trapped on the EF line on attack is not great. Is not great at all. But what we do have going for us is that they're very, very light, right? Incredibly light. So we're going to look to start repressuring. We come through the F line. We have to retake mid here. The 705A makes a huge bounce on us. That's nice. And their CS is on hill. I'm in the back in the STB and F3 just trying to farm them on hill. Just not. I don't want them to overpeak into my guys. I actually do end up making a couple of misplays. Just bad overpokes from me. Muscles is making a huge misplay here. He knows we're in mid, so I'm not quite sure why he's rotating like that. I guess he wants to go to the 9 line, but he should have done it safer. There's the first shot I take 409. I shouldn't be taking those shots. There's just no reason, and I think I take a couple more too. There's no reason for me to be taking those shots because my guys are already in mid. I don't need to bleed here. I just need to be ready for a redump. And you can see again, they have two CSs on hill. We saw Muscles rotate the 9 line. We know where their other two tanks are. We said, okay, fuck it. Absorb the 705 A shot and get the fuck up the hill. And that's a beauty about the 277 comp. They're fast and they just bully everything, right? Like, when do you see 3277s pushing hill? But here, okay, we need to bully them. And you can see I'm on 1200. I should still be on full health. October takes the shot from Nexus. And we're just going to bully the fuck out of them on hill. Nexus, and I'm just trying to cover Nexus. Nexus has to try to play safe. You can see the 758 coming up. They're actually still up a lot of HP, but now that we've got hill and we've kind of bled, they don't have much DPM. Nexus is going to make a great play here by running. We get him and me get a shot into Muscles here. Highly comes back down, which is the correct play to start supporting. And you can see I can take a 277 shot here, and I don't actually get one back in. So I should still be on full health here, which would make us be 2008 or 1500 HP up. Mashy tries to confirm the kill, doesn't get it, so that's a misplay because now he was kind of caught out there. And you can see Floppy's going to pick up Sebastian, which does put us up a tank. But now both teams are kind of stuck. We can't do anything on hill anymore with Mashy because he's so low. They can't really push into Highly or Nexus. Highly's actually on the high ramp, which is really good. It forces them to kind of play back like they are. They can't really re-push, so Nexus is completely safe. And this during this time, you have to understand that Dark was lit by Highly as he pushed, and Octo is coming up the hill. So I make the call, right? Nexus is the overall calling, right? But I need to make the call, and I do that. I need to come out wide because I know that in this area I can kill the CS. Now I could come to C5 and probably kill the CS, but I don't want to do that. And the reason I don't want to do that is because I know I have time. Everyone is stuck. Really, Octo can come up, except he can be turret broken by Mashy and Floppy if he plays correctly, right? If Mashy just does not play correctly, then yes, Octo will kill him and he'll win this. But I have to trust my teammates, right? Ideally, it's whoever he's looking at, the other guy's going to shoot him, and these guys are never going to take damage in this crossfire. That's essentially what happens. But the reason I don't want to take C5 is because I don't want to be lit, and I don't want to get turned on and shot. So you're going to see I'm actually going to take a really, really wide approach here. And again, so you're going to see Octo coming up. Floppy's going to look for the shot. He's forced to back down, and they're just going to play off each other really well. And you can see how they're all stuck. Highly's high, Nexus is low. They're full health. You can't really push with the 705A. Highly's going to look for Dark, but Dark backs off. And the reason Highly actually did this was because I told him right here, as I'm getting into A3, I said, Highly, I need Dark lit, right? Because I know I'm going to have the angle on him in a second. And that's why he kind of does that. So I'm going to park up in A3, and you're going to see me confirm the kill on Dark in half a second here. And that's going to really, you can see as soon as I confirm the kill, they start getting a bit more aggro, and then they realize they really can't. But they have to try, because now they know I'm behind, so they want to try to push south into us. But you're going to see Highly scream down the hill. Him and Nexus are going to confirm the kill onto Muscles. And you can see, even though their 705A is completely full health, he just doesn't have the DPM to do anything. You can see Mashy's coming off the hill, and all this time actually, I was farming October in the ass. You could make the case that I should come in, but like I was saying, there's just not much they can do with Floppy. Even though everyone's kind of a one shot, it's really, really hard for them to do anything with the 705A here, because for every shot he's putting in, we're getting in like 2 or 3. We actually get the fire here, so it is very freaking close still. But you can see it wouldn't have mattered anywhere. Even if Nexus goes down, by the time the 705A reloads to kill Floppy, Floppy has gotten a shot or two into him, and I'm there, and I'm a definite 2-shot anyway. So I actually don't mind me staying back to farm Octo in the ass. And that by the way, that is the reason I was playing over here and obviously didn't trip cap instead of C5, because I think at the time the casters were like, I should be playing C5, but actually no, I shouldn't. I don't think I should, because it just gives them especially Octo right here on the hill, to peek up to kill Dark on this ramp. I'm very, very exposed to this guy who's on the hill, and we still can't really over peek onto the hill with Floppy or Mashy because of the guy out wide. So it actually, especially looking back on it now, it definitely was the correct play that I made. Again, you could argue I should have come in quicker, but I don't think it mattered either way. Everyone played really well. We stalled them correctly. And funny thing is, I was absolutely yelling at my team not to do anything stupid, right? Because as I'm getting out wide, we do have a slight danger of being over pushed. It's hard for them, but that would be their best play. So I'm just yelling at everyone to just not fucking bleed, right? Don't bleed. Hold your angles and just keep them, because again, like I was saying, we were at a stalemate. You should have been able to see how and why we were at that stalemate. So that's why I rotated by coming over here and killing dark. Obviously, that completely puts that stalemate into our favor, and it also ensures that I'm going to farm anything here, which forces their hand south, which is exactly what we want when they're down that tank and they don't have that DPM. And we end up winning. We end up winning 4-3 in overtime, and I actually think the casters bring me down for an interview after this. Yeah, they do. I'm not gonna obviously listen to it here, but if you want to watch, the VOD is up on Scott. You can see it right here. The VOD is Scott Sterling _NA, and the whole video is called Sterling Cup Final Four. And yeah, I do my little interviews, like a 5-minute interview right at the end there. Again, 5v5s, really, really good for improvement. Like I've been saying, you're going to get punished incredibly hard for making list plays. You're going to see more things. You're going to have to aim better. Your hit points matter 3 times as much. Every shot you take counts more. Bleeding is more important to the enemy team and your team, and especially position in 5v5. Now again, I've been saying these things throughout these videos, but in 5v5, compared to 15v15, 15v15, you're going to have vision everywhere, essentially. You're going to have tanks everywhere. In 5v5, the maps are big enough relative to the 5 tanks that you simply can't control everything at one time, which means your rotations and your players' thinking has to be on point if you ever want to win against good teams. Otherwise, they will simply outvision you, they'll out-rotate you, they'll have all the angles, and you'll just find yourself bottlenecked, and you'll be like, holy shit, how'd that happen? And you'll get 5-0'd. Especially, like I said, against good teams in 5v5. So, yep, like I said, what I want you guys to take away is the individual play, and the individual play relative to kind of what's going on with the team. And then when I do this next finals for the Simply Nuck League, where there was the 15v15 league had a much bigger prize pool, so there were much better teams. This one, like I said, we won like $70 for first place, so it wasn't anything great. But for 2 days, whatever, it's not that bad. Whereas for the Simply Nuck League, it was a $15,000 prize. So obviously, there's going to be essentially the best players on the server there, and you'll see in the video. I guess I'll do it tomorrow. And again, with that one, really focus on the overall map and what's going on, and like I've been saying, the different groups. But I hope you guys enjoyed this little mini series, and I hope some people found it helpful. And most of all, I hope it inspires some of you to start playing those 5v5 mastery brackets of wargaming setup. They're not like I've been saying, they're not the actual cash money prizes. They're not buy-in or anything. They are just for gold and bonds, and anyone can sign up. But I think they're really effective. Also, like I've been saying, if anyone wants to make a team with me, I'm more than happy to make a team with you guys for 5v5s. We'll at least get through the first day. We'll make it to the playoffs, and we'll do as best we can. I won't tilt or anything. I understand you guys are new, so we'll just use it as a learning experience. We'll get a couple thousand gold, couple thousand bonds for it. It'll just be fun and a great way to learn. Also, update on the tournament I want to do with Goons. I'm probably going to talk to Loki tonight if he's available. I think I've got a pretty good format set up where I'll do a kind of point system and randomly assign 5v5 teams, and we'll do it like on predetermined nights, and we'll have like a really nice, hopefully gold and bond pool, and maybe even if people want to donate, we could do a little cash prize. But we'll see how that works out and what our officers say about the treasury, etc. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And anyway, have a great night, guys. Good job in Clan Wars tonight, by the way, 3-1, I believe. And yep, have a good night.